Hey y'all, welcome to or welcome back to our very bookish channel. My name's Amanda. I run the channel with my friend Jen. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. And if you have seen our videos before, then welcome back. In this video, we're gonna be talking about all of the potential books we could be reading in the month of November. So this month is gonna look a little bit different. It's not as structured, okay? It's harder for us to plan exactly what books we're gonna be reading in this month because it's kind of, our vlog plans have made the books that we're gonna be reading kind of left up to chance. We have decided to participate in Bucket List-a-thon. And this is a fun little read-a-thon that Danny Dabbles, who is also a booktuber, and I will have her channel linked below. Danny Dabbles created this, and it's just kind of to help you finish any books that you want to finish by the end of the year. It's very laid back. Her official dates for the Bucket List-a-thon are mid-November to mid-December, but she said really you can do it through all the month of November and December just to try to get caught up on the books you've been missing out on. And I feel like that is perfect for me and Jen. Jen did a short where, you know, she featured 10 before the end and she wanted 10 books she wanted to read by the end of the year. So there's that. I know I have some books that I have been dying to get to and haven't had a chance. I have books that I'm in the middle of and haven't had a chance to finish. So this just seemed perfect. And if you want more information about Bucket List-a-thon or you want to participate, I will also link the video that Danny features this in and describes the whole Bucket List-a-thon. And the whole reading challenge is what I meant to say, where she describes the whole reading challenge. There is a link to her Discord. There's a sign up sheet if you want to sign up, but it's not a competitive thing. It's just very low key, very just a fun way for you to focus on finishing those books you want to finish. So we are going to be doing a vlog where we roll the dice and we use this board to determine a book that we are going to read.
It's November TBR, and I have a lot on my plate for November, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to read the books that are on my list. I am going to go for 7. We'll see if that works out. It might be a 5 or below month though, because there's just a lot going on. But you never know. Some months I think I'm not going to get anything, and then I end up getting quite a few books. Let's jump on in and I'll show you what I have on tap for November. First, I have James by Percival Everett. This one has been getting a lot of praise and people are putting it on their lists for best of the year already. I have been wanting to read this for quite some time. I do love fiction, literary fiction, and I don't feel like I get to enough of it. One of the reasons is I really like to savor fiction, and it's hard when we have videos that we need to do because then I would end up jumping in and out of it. I did already start this one, as you can see. I'm gonna end up going in and out of it. And that's not always fun because I feel like sometimes I forget things if I am away from it for too long. Hopefully though, I get a chance to finish this at least by the end of this year. We'll see. The next one is The Business Trip by Jessie Garcia. I've been also wanting to read this one for a while. I got this as an ARC, which is advanced reader's copy, a couple months ago, I want to say, and I'm pretty sure Amanda has this as well. I don't know if we're going to do a dual ARC review for this. Hopefully she wants to read it as well. It comes out in January, so I definitely want to read it by then. It's been hard because I've really wanted to start this one for a while now, and I feel like for sure I want to read it in November. Another vlog that we're doing, Amanda had the idea. She got the idea from Danny Dabbles, who does booktubes, and she has a Bucket List-a-thon and there's a game board. So we are going to download that game board and participate in that to pick one of the books that we're going to do for a vlog. I don't know yet too much about it, but I will have one of my reads from partnering with that booktuber.
So every month, we always feature a secret TBR pick vlog. And for November, we have decided that our secret read is going to be themed Try a Chapter. So we are going to pick 3 to 5 books that we want to read and read the first chapter of each book and determine what book we feel like we want to continue. So this is something that I did a long time ago. I was at the library and I couldn't decide if I wanted to read Empire of the Vampire or Bone Shard Daughter. So I read the first couple of chapters of each book and they both just seemed so good. It really didn't help make it easier, but I decided to read Empire of the Vampire, and that was 5 stars for me. Empire of the Damned, which is the second book in that series, is 5 stars for me. I'm anxiously awaiting the 3rd book coming out. It's going to be a trilogy, so there's a 3rd and final book release coming out in that trilogy. Anxiously awaiting that. So I thought, let's try this for our secret TBR pick. Now, I did go to the library again. Y'all know I love my library. And I picked out several books. I went a little crazy, okay? And to be fair, y'all, I have access to 2 libraries. We have a library for our whole county that anyone in the county can join. And then I have an additional library for just like my city and little cities around my city that kind of have their own. But to be honest with you, I find more of the books I'm looking for in my smaller library chain that's just around my city. I don't know. The larger chain kind of has the most popular books, I guess, and releases. But like the littler chain kind of has my niche, like lots of fantasy, lots of grimdark fantasy, lots of horror, kind of like the oddball books that I've been looking for. So, I mean, it works out pretty good. But possibilities for the triad chapter that I have, I've narrowed it down to 4. Okay, I've been in a grimdark fantasy mood. Okay, so I think I'm gonna look at these books. I may pull some books from my shelf, my own TBR. I really want to read Nevernight by J. Kristoff, so I might read the first chapter in that book. I really want to get to this duology. Jen got me this duology for Christmas and last year and I haven't read it yet, so really want to get to that. That book sounds really good. But the books that I found from the library that are possibilities are The Shadow of What Was Lost. This is by James Islington, and I read The Will of the Many earlier this year for a vlog, and I absolutely loved it. So I've been really wanting to get back into James Islington's writing, and I know this is like a very popular trilogy. Everyone says it's good, so I have this one on my list. The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence. Again, another awesome fantasy writer. I've heard nothing but good things about his books, and I really want to get into this one, and I haven't yet. Don't know why. Priest of Bones. This is a grimdark fantasy. It's been on my radar for a very long time. When I saw it at the library, I just was like, well, I'm going to pick it up and see what is going on with this book. This is a little bit smaller book than the other ones. It's also in paperback, which is my favorite. My favorite book. I mean, the problem with these books is they're really big and heavy, and the hardcovers are kind of awkward, but so looking forward to this one. And then Kings of the Wild. Again, this is another grim and dark book, and I don't know, there's a bookmark in it, but I'm not reading it. I don't know, it's just a half-price bookmark. But this is another library find, and I've been really wanting to read this, and it's grimdark, and it's supposed to be just awesome book, so I want to get to this too. Again, it's another series. Probably going to be starting another series for those, but those are what I'm thinking for the triad chapter. Or it could be any other book that I'm in the mood for. I don't know. Like I said, we've left this month really open to kind of letting us mood read and giving us a little more like leniency in the books we choose. So who knows? Maybe I'll be in the mood for like a romantasy or something that's lighter. Who knows? But those are kind of the books that I have in mind right now that I might be choosing from. So you guys will have to click back on the channel and check out that vlog once it's posted to see which books I pick.
One of the 3 vlogs that we're going to be doing for November, we're doing a secret book one. It was Amanda's idea, and I think it's really interesting. It's where you choose a few books and you read the first chapter, and based on those first chapters, you choose which one that you want. So I'm going to show you the 4 books that I'm going to read the first chapter, and then I'm going to choose which one I am going to read for the vlog. So the 4 books are A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston. I've been wanting to read this one. It's a light, romantic, rom-com type very close to Sophie Cousins, which is one of my favorites now. This one might grab me depending on my mood because I am a mood reader. The next has been on my TBR for a while. I've been really wanting to read it, though I may choose, it'll be very funny if I choose one of these during the TBR jar portion of this video, but My Favorite Terrible Thing by Madeline Henry. I really want to read this one. The next is a sequel to The Puzzle Master. This one's called The Puzzle Box by Danielle Trussoni. I really want to read this one. I've been holding off on this one, so maybe this one will be the winner. Lastly, I got this one at Half Price Books. The Villa by Rachel Hawkins. I have read Rachel Hawkins for the first time this year, and I really, really loved that book. So I've been wanting to go back for more, and this one might knock out the other contenders. Stay tuned for that vlog. You can see which first chapter grabbed my interest out of these 4 contenders.
And finally, another vlog we're doing in the month of November is going to be our most anticipated TBR jar. We just put out our most anticipated releases for November, December, and a little sneak peek at January. So if you haven't seen that video, check it out. But every other month we put out our most anticipated videos, and every other month between those months we like to get our TBR jar out and pick from our selections of our most anticipated videos. And this has just been so much fun. We've really enjoyed doing this. The last time we did this vlog, we actually picked out 2 books, and I ended up DNFing. I ended up DNFing mine, but anyways, hopefully I'll get a good one for this month that I really like. So let's just go ahead and pick it out and see what we're going to be getting here. All right, so it's white. So that means, okay, so this was March, April of 2024. And this is Ghost Station. I already DNF'd Ghost Station. I tried to read it, and it was started out like really good. Like I was really enjoying it in the beginning. It was really entertaining, and then it just got kind of super repetitive and boring. So I've already tried this book, so I'm just gonna throw that out and pick another one. There are a lot of books in here still that I've already read, and I haven't pulled them out of my jar yet, so it's possible I get one I've already read. All right, this is a purpley one. Okay, all right, so this is recommended for July and August releases, and this is Reckless by Lauren Roberts. I read the first book. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting it now. What's the name of the first book? Powerless. Yes, I read Powerless a long time ago, and I was extremely disappointed. That book was so overhyped, and it was just a Hunger Games retelling, and it wasn't as good as Hunger Games, so I was just extremely disappointed, a little bit upset about that book. I will say the ending of that book, though, leaves you on a cliffhanger that is taking the series, I felt like, in a different direction than Hunger Games. So I did put Reckless on my most anticipated because I had every intention of reading the second book. Since this book has come out, I've heard really bad reviews about it, and I do not want to read it anymore. I'm sorry, I'm not going to put myself through that. I was disappointed in the first book. I was hopeful for the second book, so I did include it on my most anticipated. But after the reviews of people that actually read and loved the first book, and they had bad reviews for the second book, I'm really not interested in this series anymore. I'm definitely DNFing this series, and I'm probably not gonna read any more of this series. I am still interested in reading from this author, though, if she comes out with some other things that is maybe a little bit more new and fresh. I might try to read some more of her books, so I'm not like saying I'm never reading Lauren Roberts again. Her writing was fantastic, but I'm just not interested in moving on with this series. All right, let's try this again one more time. Hopefully this one will be good. One more time here. Okay. Nervous. Nervous now. Oh, good. Okay, so I got The Book of Doors, and this came out all the way back in February of earlier this year, which is kind of perfect because I'm finishing it before this year. It's kind of like a full circle, right? The Book of Doors. I'm so excited. I have that right here. I got an ARC of this book. I've been dying to read it. It's been on like probably a couple of TBRs, and I'm finally getting an excuse to read this book. So very excited. So very excited to get to reading this. I hope I like it because I've been anticipating this book for a long time. So that's only 3. If we have time in the month, we might do another roll of the dice and continue using the bucket list-a-thon board, or we might pick another book from our most anticipated TBR jar. I'm not sure. We're kind of leaving it open. The end of the year is really busy for us, so we're really trying to leave us some space and room here and not stress out too much. So that's all we have. Honorable mentions, though, that I also found at the library that I think I might get to if I have a chance, is this Peter Watts blind site. And if you read the description of this book, I'm not going to read it to you. You can go check it out if you want. But this book sounds kind of crazy. It's a sci-fi, and it has vampires, and it has voodoo, and it has a cyborg biologist who can't feel his own flesh. I mean, this book just sounds insane. And why not? It just seemed like this is the most insane description I think I've ever read, and I have been wanting to get more in sci-fi, so I might get to this one if I get a chance. And then, y'all, I found The Bright Sword by Lev Grossman. I checked this book out from the library a long time ago. I read the first chapter or two and had to return it, and this has been on hold. The library has had a line of holds for this book. They've actually ordered additional copies, and I finally found it in the library and was able to check it out. So I'm gonna jump back into this one. This is a King author retelling. So I'm not usually a big fan of retellings, but this seemed interesting to me, and I read the first couple of chapters of the book and really was enjoying it a lot. So I'm really looking forward to jumping back into this one.
The next two I'm going to have to put on the screen because I have them as electronic ARCs. Again, ARC is an advanced reader copy. I have a few electronic ARCs that I've been trying to get to. One is Last Room on the Left by Leah Conan. This one is a thriller coming out next year, and I'm forgetting at the minute. I want to say it's in February that this one comes out, but I've been wanting to read it and get it off my list since I've been really wanting to read it. And it's about a writer who's under deadline. Her life is falling apart. She goes to a remote hotel, and it sounds like she also works at this hotel, which seemed kind of odd because she's going there to help get over writer's block. But then really crazy, creepy things start happening. And I think it even said the phrase, some bodies start piling up. Definitely sounded like a thriller I would want to read, and it seems like it would capture my interest. So I am very, very curious to see how that book's gonna go. The next arc is from an author that I've been really wanting to come out with another book. I had read her Age of Miracles, and it's Karen Thompson Walker. This is one of my favorite books ever. It's almost like a speculative fiction. I think it's usually found in regular fiction sections, but it's about when the Earth's rotation slows down and days start to get really longer. But in the midst of that, there is a teenager who you're seeing from her viewpoint everything that's happening, but also there's drama with her parents, there's things going on in her neighborhood, but in the background are all the things that start happening because the Earth's rotation starts to slow down. It was a very fascinating book. I couldn't put it down at the time, but she has a new one coming out, and the new one is called The Strange Case of Jane O. And I don't know much about it, just that it's about a woman who I think gets diagnosed with bipolar and everything that starts to happen with that diagnosis. All I really wanted to do was read another book by her because I liked this one so much. And I would highly recommend this if any of what I just said sounded good. I mean, I love this book. Definitely a 5-star book for me. And last, but certainly not least, is the TBR jar pick. I am hoping it's something, because our last TBR jar, we did 2. And I think me and Amanda both had the same experience where they did not turn out very well. It was not a good time. This time it's gonna be 1, and I have a pick. In my TBR jar, I have these little tiny books that I can show you in a minute that I just wrap the title around from the most anticipated videos that we put out every other month. This is the tiny little book that I wrap around. The title is Among the Living by Tim Levin, and I have no idea right at this moment what that book is, but I will put it on the screen so you guys can see it. I don't know what it's about. So that'll be interesting since I have no idea which one that is. And it gets another one off my TBR. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully that's not a bad sign. But I am not going to hesitate that if I do not like it, and it's, you know, definitely in the first 20%, I am just DNFing it and I'll pick another. Stay tuned for that one. My November, but one of the 4 bottom, I will be picking by the best chapter. I'm excited to get even more done. I'm only a few away from reading 100 for the year, and that just seems crazy to me. And hopefully November, December, I get some more time to read, and maybe I'll just hit 100. Hopefully I will at least hit 100. And if I get a lot more read, I'm gonna be definitely over 100. So that was a very good year, especially since last year was only 50. This year, I think listening to audio when I'm driving for work has definitely helped. But Frida McFadden has definitely helped as well. She has such page-turning books that they just fly. I usually only take 2 days to read those. Hopefully you have some good books on your November TBR. Share with us in the comments anything that you're really looking forward to reading before the end of 2024. And stay tuned for all of our vlogs, and until next time.